Hi everyone, welcome back to Suero TV. It's the beginning of the year. I'm Rapata, your usual host with the most. So today, guys, I have a very special guest for you to start the year off on Suero TV as well as Suero podcasts. We have Ntsiki Biyela today on our show, and she has an inspiring story that I think it will inspire you for the year. As we start the year, this is definitely the story you have to hear and actually listen to. So Ntsiki is an award-winning winemaker and director of Aslina Wines, a company named in the honor of her grandmother. Ntsiki is South African. She's from South Africa. So after she actually graduated, after she actually matriculated and working for a year as a domestic worker, she was offered a scholarship in 1999 to study at the Viticulture and Oenology at the University of Stellenbosch. After graduating and working as a winemaker and at Stellekaya Boutique winery for over a decade, she started her own brand, Aslina Wines, in 2016. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Suero TV, Ntsiki.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and greetings to the viewers.
We really can't wait to hear your story today. Thank you so much for making time from your busy schedule. So let's just get right onto it. So where does Ntsiki come from? Can you just tell us a bit of a background? I mean, I've summarized it, but let's just get to your childhood and what you actually initially dreamt to be before you found yourself where you are now.
Well, if I were to start with my childhood, that means we're going to stay here the whole day, which I currently don't have. So I'll just give you a brief, really some snippets. I grew up with my grandmother, taken care of by my grandmother as my mom was working. And so basically, and I think one of the beautiful things, which I think some of the kids nowadays, they miss, is when I was growing up and I was looking after cows, I was basically a shepherd, which was one of the fantastic things at that moment. And especially when you look at it now, you're like, that was good life. That was good life.
Yeah.
So that's how I grew up, really. So it's I went to school, went to primary school, went to high school. And in high school, due to one of those things where we have a phase as kids, you want to be this, you want to be that, you want to do different things. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a land surveyor. And because my grandmother, that's what she always spoke about. And I got to high school and I was like, actually, civil engineering will be the one because it combines both. But I ended up applying for chemical engineering. And unfortunately, in the process of applications, you get all these emails or all these letters coming back saying we regret, And as a child, you get dampened to say, okay, fine. So I'm not good enough. I'm not this, I'm not that. And I think through that, I was lucky and blessed enough that I basically got called at school after I had left school, actually, and working for a year, as you said, as a domestic worker. I got called at school because there were this application for studying winemaking at Stellenbosch University. So that is basically, it was one of those where they said, study winemaking, Stellenbosch University. And I was like, absolutely. I had no idea what they were talking about, by the way. So for me, I had the word study. So whatever was going to come after that, it was one of those. So I took that with both hands, even though when I was having a discussion with the bursary people, they said, actually, the course is in Afrikaans. And I was like, I'll do it. Again, no clue. Because I thought, thinking of the Afrikaans you learn at school and you're thinking, that shouldn't be bad. Until I got to university and I realized that it was bad. So
So basically, you went through your degree in Afrikaans and you didn't know Afrikaans, but you passed anyway.
I passed anyway. So what happened was, like, in our first year, we managed to wriggle and get to the forestry group and study with them. But when we had to do our course in Afrikaans, we had to ask for tutors because there was going to be no ways to actually go through it like that. So we had to get extra classes, get tutors, try and get extra to get to what you want.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So after you graduated in 2004, you worked at
Stellekaya.
Stellekaya, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
Stellekaya. And this led you to be the first Black female winemaker. Can you just tell us about this journey
So
and how it yeah.
so when I finished my studies, I started applying for jobs. I think one of the things I believe that our path is carved for each and every
Yeah.
one of us. Because I remember
Mm.
I was so hurt when one of the wine farms, which I'm glad they didn't hire me, actually, I
Mm.
applied and their response was they were looking for a guy and they're viticulturists because I applied, I've got, viticulture and oenology. So I could
Yeah. Yeah.
either be any of the two. And so when they
Yeah.
couldn't hire me, but I think it wasn't what hurt me was not because they couldn't hire me because I didn't qualify. It was because they were looking for a guy. And I thought, what is a man going to do?
Imagine.
We both studied at the same
Yeah.
university. So,
Mm.
but again, that was those times where that
Yeah.
mattered. So
Yeah.
I then applied at Stellekaya, got invited for an interview. And I remember when the owner
Mm.
was interviewing me, when someone interviews you and you realize that you're not listening to what they're telling you, all you're thinking about is
That
hire me,
actually
hire me,
happens a
hire me,
lot.
hire me, hire me. That's all was in my head. Hire me, hire me, hire me, hire me. So when I got hired, very interesting because when I had my first interview, because
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that I was the first. I was told that actually, no, actually,
Mm.
there isn't a black person and as a winemaker, as a woman in the wine industry, as a
Yeah.
winemaker. So I was like, oh, okay. So basically, that's what I was told, and that's what I was given, and I got those interviews and starting to
Mm.
realize what was happening and understanding the industry. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So then how did you get to now open Aslina Wines? So take us through the process of after now Stellekaya, now you now opened your wine company after this journey. Take us
So
through that one.
when I started working at Stellekaya, one thing I knew is that I wanted to start my own company. But even
Mm.
from varsity, I knew that I wanted to start my own company. It's just that at the university, I didn't know what company I was going to be starting. But
Yeah.
when I actually started working at Stellekaya, I knew that I'm working towards. So whatever I did within the
Right.
company,
Okay.
so whatever
Uh-huh.
I did within the company, it was aligned with me learning as much as I could. So I
Yeah.
made one of the decision to say there is no job that is not mine for me to learn.
So you know all the corners.
I
Yeah,
needed to
that's
know
smart.
all the corners, and
Yeah.
which was one of the things.
From administration to winemakery to harvesting. Yeah.
So as much as you're like, no, you're a winemaker, but I was like, okay, fine, I'm a winemaker. It means I need to make wine, but what else can I do? And then I made sure that I learned every angle. Even in the accounting, I used to do invoices to send wine to the client. I needed to know how to do statements. I needed to know what's happening in finance, do the budgets and all. So it was really, I think that's where I got the whole foundation actually of
Yeah.
running a business. So by the time,
Yeah.
because again, it's all about progression. So by the time arrived where I was like, this is it, I need to jump the ship. I
Yeah.
was ready. And I think it is important to understand, because we're all individuals, to understand when you as an individual are ready. Because
Yeah.
long before, I had people approaching me saying, don't you want to start your own company? We can assist you here. Don't you want? But I was personally not ready. The inner person wasn't ready, strong enough to say, I will fight the battles. I will go
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
as much. So I had to wait for that moment where I was like, I'm now ready.
I'm ready.
So
Yeah.
yes. And then, because when
How does
you're
that
ready, then
moment
you will be able to face whatever comes your way.
everything? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that moment feel, Ntsiki? I mean, this is such good. What I'm taking away from this is sometimes, for you to be an entrepreneur, it's best to work first, which I always think so as well, just to learn, probably some corporate governance, learn some skills that you might need to implement. It just makes the entrepreneurship journey easier when you know those skills, and it teaches you marketing skills, it teaches you administration skills, as well as how to handle yourself in front of customers. But
And
then
discipline.
how do you know? how do you know that, okay, it's time, I'm ready? How does that feeling look like or feel like?
So for me, readiness was not about to say, I know when I go out, I'm going to make it work. For me,
Yeah.
readiness was, do I know majority of the technical skills? Do I know majority of how to deal with customers, how to do? So it was more about really the technicalities of the business. When I knew that actually I'm doing, so that means I can do it.
Yeah.
So that's
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Ntsiki, one of the things when I was having a conversation with you sometime last year was the importance of trying to avoid credit, especially when you are starting off a business. Your business is self-funded and it involves stock. It involves having to actually possibly bottles and order some, I don't know, some grapes. What do you need to do? The process that you actually need to go. But it needed money, but it was self-funded. Take us through that process so that the entrepreneur out there who is listening, wanting to start or feeling stuck with money, and that honestly thinking the credit route, and you don't encourage it. I know you really try to discourage us taking the credit route. Try by all means to use what you have. Take us through that journey for you so that we can get inspired by it.
So for me, I think one of the key things is that when you are still working, it is important to build a network.
Yeah.
It is important to build relationships, know people. People must know you. So because when you start, those are the people you're going to try to get advice from. Those are the people you're going to come try to get guidance. Some of them might even borrow you money.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things when I was starting, I went to because when I started the Aslina, it was from a collaboration that I'd done with Helen Keplinger, an American winemaker. We did a collaboration. We made the first one and the second wine. And what I did when I was starting those was to speak to my importer to say, listen, financially, I'm not going to be able to do this. Do you mind to fund upfront, to pay upfront? Have that negotiation with your suppliers. So, or people who are going to supply the product. And so she trusted me and she was like, no, I can pay about 50% upfront. And I went to the suppliers. They know me already in the industry. The bottle company, I was like, I need bottles, but financially, I'll only be able to pay you in the next 6 months. And they were like, okay, fine, we can give you. You need to, so to have that relationship, say, and then I went to the Coke company. I remember RR Cokes. I was like, guys, I need Cokes, but can I pay you, So it's the
negotiating. Yeah.
I think that's why it is important when you step out to a business, to step out to something the environment that you understand. So that, especially as a first venture, it is important, I think. And then once you've got your first venture, when you do the others, then you don't have to have that because you've already built maybe some capital. So that's how basically I started. And another friend
from
of
your
mine,
first payment. Yeah.
Exactly. And then another friend of mine, he was like, he owns one of the wineries, the High Road. He was like, okay, so are you going to get a loan from the bank? And I said, I don't like to go to the bank. And he's like, okay, fine, I can give you something. How much do you want? And I was like, whoa, okay, And so it's building that network, network.
So that network, let's talk about building the network, Ntsiki, which is not a very easy thing to do. You've built this network from when you were working, right? And then obviously continue to build as you're an entrepreneur. Let's talk about networking. Ntsiki, where does one start with networking? Did you come in and just throw in your business card? Who know? How do we do that with the networking so that, because sometimes I must mention that sometimes when you actually move from corporate to being an entrepreneur, that network doesn't necessarily help you, by the way, sometimes. Most of the time. How can you navigate that as well when now they don't associate with you for as long as you are not working for the company that you used to work for? You're still the same person, they know you, but this time because you're not working for that company, they're not willing to help you. how can we also break those barriers and how can we get through that? And the skill of networking as well and building a relationship.
So for me, networking is building friends. That's what I call it. Because I think sometimes we think networking is about me meeting you, giving you my business card, and then hoping you remember. But for me, networking is about meeting you, knowing who you are, where you come from, how do you have kids, what do you like doing? What are you a person who like reading? What kind of food that makes you tick? What that for me, that is networking. Knowing who you are, then what you do.
Yeah.
So that is the key for me. Knowing a person, knowing who they are, other than knowing what they do. What they do should come later, because life is really about building meaningful relationships.
Yeah.
And so you cannot build a meaningful relationship if I'm coming to you just to check what you do so that I can see what I can get from you. Then that's not going to work.
So it's not going to work. So basically, if you're going to be interested in a certain person to network with, rather be interested in who they are, because most of the time people really like talking about themselves anyway. So that's probably the strategy. Also find out who they are, what they like, possibly start off the relationship with actually maybe buying them one time, just get, if they love flowers or they like cheese, have cheese delivered at their office randomly, and take them out for coffee and just have that conversation. How are the kids?
Build a friendship.
That I understand what. So that's where it starts, basically, not necessarily.
So build friendships, and people, make sure people know who you are, because again, people are going to be interested in knowing you, because values are one of the most important things. I'll make an example. At some point, when Aslina has just started, I met someone who said, you know what, I can help you sell your wine all over. There's going to be loads of money coming. That person made me run for my life.
Like, why? You ran away from money?
Because it's like there and then I was like, no, we've got different values.
Oh, red flag for you.
For me, it was a red flag. I'm going to make you loads of money. And I was like,
that's not what I'm about. Yeah. And then he thought he was enticing you, and when you're not about that. So basically, this is exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Find out who the person is. That's how you network.
Exactly. So basically, what I'm saying is that when you go to a person, also, if I come to the person, it's more like I need to say, how can I add value to you? How can I add value? That should be the approach. How can I add value to your life? In return, I know you're going to add value to me. But for me to add value, I need to know who you are. And then see if our values align.
Yes.
Because again, what's the point of networking with someone when you know you, like, literally there's nothing that is, gelling between the two of you?
Yeah.
So hence I'm saying,
right. So basically,
yeah. So that's
all
what I'm
right.
saying.
So basically, what you're saying. Oh, sorry. I think the network is kind of missing each other. Sorry. Let me let you finish. You're saying there.
No, that's what I'm saying. Networking it's building friendship.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Don't throw your business cards around and say I'm gonna make you loads of money, and you don't even know this person and their values and what they put first. Is it money first, or is it passion? Is it a lot of things? Understand that person, then you can take it from there. This is what you mean, and not necessarily also benefiting from this person would be business wise. It could be really personal growth. You could learn a lot from them on how to raise children, or a lot of things that you can actually learn, or maybe marketing skills, or how to build relationships, like you're saying, and not necessarily how they can come and grow your business for you. This is what you mean. This is actually quite interesting. I'm really, really excited about this. Ntsiki, as we're coming to the end of our interview, it's been 5 years now since you've been running, since 2016. How has the journey been?
Actually, it's been an amazing journey. I'm going to say 2021 was one of the hectic here because we grew like really big, and
Mm.
growth is stressful. Growth is painful.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
but it's been an amazing journey, and and and
Yeah.
and just it's growth every time. And other parties that, as a team, we have not stopped learning. I attended a
Yeah.
course last year. I was studying. I'm looking for another course to do this year, and that is another
What,
thing.
what course was it?
I did a women in leadership
Why?
because where I am and running a business, I'm dealing with people. I need to understand what's out there. What is it that I need to
As a
do?
woman leader.
Yes,
Yeah.
what are the
Yeah.
struggles and how to actually see certain things and how do they pan out? And also be able to
Absolutely.
relate with people, because as we grow, we
Yeah.
change. So I need to
Yeah.
adapt to that change, but also I need
Yeah.
to make sure that my mind stays as active as possible, because yes, I'm
Yeah.
working, I know my business 1, 2, 3, but things change.
Yeah.
So I need to stay
Yeah.
ahead. And so, which
Yeah.
is one of the things with the team. I said, the Aslina team knows that you have to keep studying. Everybody studies.
Mm-hmm.
So we cannot have stagnant people in the company, because that means
Absolutely.
they're not
Yeah.
growing, the company is not going to grow. So where are we going here? So
Yeah. Yeah.
investing as an entrepreneur, again, it is important to invest in your team, because you are investing
In
in
your,
the company.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because it benefits the company anyway. So
Exactly.
yeah, and also as a leader, not necessarily that it benefits the company. As a leader, you should actually make sure that your team grows, even if they jump ship to
If
another company or
exactly, but
whatever. You
that
have
beauty.
contributed towards their growth. This is what you're
Yes.
saying. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So, Ntsiki, are you a reader?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Actually,
What's your current read right now?
reading started at a later stage. I had to go through some emotional issues that made me draw to reading, because
Oh, yeah?
yeah,
Mm.
because I think I'm just gonna say this. At some point, I was going through depression, and that led me to reading, because I
Okay.
used to think when people say they're reading, I'm like, I studied at varsity. Why will reading make me relax? Like,
And that was
who
enough.
does
That's so
that?
hectic.
And then finally, I realized actually it does make you relax. So, one of my
Yeah.
favorite books, I'll tell you this, one of my favorite books that I always call it's a Bible, but it's a
Yeah.
book called A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. A Return to Love.
Mm.
I love that book. In
Mhm.
terms of personal growth, in terms of basically, it tells that everything really revolves around understanding what love is. That when I deal with you, I
Yeah.
must work with you from a point of love, not as a person that I just meet. And so
Ah.
when you serve from a point of love, that what happens when you do that? So for
Yeah.
me, it's just basically helping the journey. And one of the books I give to the students, because I'm involved with Pinotage Youth Development Academy. So sometimes when I buy
Mm.
students books, I buy them a leader who had no title by what is
Yes.
it?
The Robin Sharma. Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
because
Yes.
that book for me, so that they understand that they are leaders whatever level
They
they are
are.
at.
Mm.
You are a leader. Do that thing from the best of your ability.
Yeah.
So again,
Absolutely.
for me, it
Wow.
says you serving
Yeah.
wherever you are serving, serve with love. That's basically what it boils down.
From a point of love. All right. Tiki, you're an inspiration. You are inspiring a lot of women. You're inspiring a lot of Black women and men. I would like to believe as well that it is possible. It doesn't matter your background and where you come from, you can actually make it. And you, as long as you work hard and you persevere. So my takeaway points here, Ntsiki, for you is that work hard, network, and network means you build relationships from a point of friendship. Sometimes it is best for you to start from corporate so that you can actually learn all the tools and then you can start on your entrepreneurship journey. But perseverance is important. Don't forget why you're a leader in your journey, that you are also leading a team behind, that you need to advance forward. And you also, another takeaway is self-development is key, not only for yourself but for your team as well. Oh, Ntsiki, you're such an inspiration. Thank you so much. Your wines are one of my favorites. I think you know I love your Sauvignon Blanc. It's
Yes,
quality wine. That's another thing. You produce such quality wine, no hangover whatsoever after you've had it. It's amazing. And thank you so much. I don't know if you have any last words for the viewer before we end the interview, because we've come to the end of our interview. As they're starting the year, for the entrepreneur out there and the entrepreneur to be out there, what is your last words for them?
well, I think for me, it's not, the approach is never a blanket approach. Person needs to
Yeah,
understand that the journey they're starting is their own journey. The fact that the other person failed doing it doesn't mean you're going to fail. So
yeah,
let's not say, okay, so and so did it. It's your own journey. So do it your own way. And it must suit
yeah.
you and be comfortable with it.
All right. Thank you so much, Ntsiki. You are amazing. Thank you for today. With all the glitches we had, all the technology glitches we had, we thank you so much. Internet behaved so well today.
It
You did
did.
so well as well. Thank you so much. You're an inspiration. I hope we can do this again next time. Let me let you get back to your schedule, so that you can get back to your meetings. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you're inspired by this story. Till next time. Bye.